dance for joy or lust or anger.
Welcome to Sensible Secondhand Reviews, the series where we look at sensible and practical cars that you could buy for a budget of between £1,000 and £5,000. This is a 2016 Citroën C1 Mark II 1 litre Flair automatic. But is it any good? Should you care? Let's find out, shall we? So the Mark II Citroën C1 was released in 2014, unsurprisingly replacing the Mark I Citroën C1. These cars were built in a factory in the Czech Republic along with the Peugeot 108 and the Mark II Toyota Aygo. Strangely enough, the Aygo is the one that remains in production to this day in the form of the Aygo X that we had on the channel last year. The C1 and the 108 were discontinued in 2022. The evidence of the partnership between Toyota, Citroën and Peugeot are most evident with the engines, which for the majority of these cars were 1 litres in size. This one is the 1KRFE engine, which generates 69 horsepower. This feels absolutely fine for a car like this. In 2018, that engine was changed for a different version of the 1KR called the 1KR B52. That I think is a very similar engine to the one that's in the Aygo X to this day. Between 2014 and 18, you could also get another powertrain option for this car, which was the 1.2 PureTech, which is PSA's own engine. That went into an awful lot of cars from about 2012 onwards and still in some of their cars to this day. 4-cylinder generating 82 horsepower. Unlike the 1KR engine, it actually has a wet timing belt, so you do need to be aware of that, and I would probably, if I were buying one of these cars, stick with one of the 1 litre engines. Compared with the 2013 Peugeot 107 that we filmed in exactly the same location back in March, this does feel like quite a different type of car. Obviously the second generation Aygo and the 108 are pretty much the same as this. This Flair Spec model is quite nicely equipped actually. It's got alloy wheels and chrome effect door handles and little chrome stripe down the side and chrome mirror caps and a reversing camera and all sorts of things. This one's also only done 20,000 miles, which is remarkable. Got original dealer plates on this one too. I gather it is wearing a little bit of preparation, but to me this looks ready to go. I think that might be just possibly the brakes that are slightly rubbing, that might need sorting out, but apart from that, seems pretty good. Little tiny boot here. I think it's 195 litres on this. It's bigger than the previous generation C1, but not by much. In this particular one, we've got a very, very sort of heavy tint on the rear window and these sort of side windows as well at the back, which means that you wouldn't know that plate was there at all. I mean, I have to have it in there for insurance purposes if I'm test driving cars from dealership. But yeah, there we go. The parcel shelf is this thing here. It's not missing. It's just that's it. That's what you get, which is fine because the tailgate is really tiny. So not the most commodious boot, but bigger than the previous one. So just see if we can. Sorry about the noise of those dogs in the background, viewers. There's got a spare wheel in there, which is brilliant. So if you just need a car, a little thing to get you around, and I think quite possibly the 2 previous owners of this car, that's what they've been doing with it, then this will do you very nicely indeed. Very economical, of course, with the little 1 litre engine. It's weird, this robotised manual thing. I'm not very keen on stuff like that. But if you must have an automatic, and I understand some people, particularly one of the previous owners here, must have a disability because of the steering wheel ball, then this is available for your perusal and delectation. I'm going to try to get in the back. This might not be particularly fun. Yeah. The previous C1 and 107 and Aygo was quite cramped in the back and only had pop-out windows in the back. This one continues to be quite cramped in the back and it's only got pop-out windows. But we'll do our best. Obviously hard plastic in here, lots of exposed metal, but that's part of the charm of these cars, really. Got side airbags in the seats. Very, very, very big seats as well, which makes it really dark in here. You can see evidently the contrast between the tinted rear side windows and the front windows. Very heavily tinted. Only a 4-seater. There's only 2 seat belts in here, and I mean I'm in. Put my other leg in here. Ooh, no, oh dear, that's not good. Oh, yeah, not really a car for a large family. Not at all. I mean I'm in. I mean I sort of fit, but not very well. At least it's got some door bins in here. I'll show you this side because it's a little bit lighter. And we've got a cup holder there for the rear passengers to fight over, but not a lot else. Not really. Yeah. Not the sort of... I was not to spend a lot of time in there. It's just a bit dark and a bit cramped. I believe something like a Citigo or an Up is a little bit more spacious. I like the LED daytime running lights, by the way. Those do look nice, and it's a nice sort of cheerful colour as well. This car. There you go, chrome mirror caps. Very, very light doors. Very light, and you can sort of hear the way they open. One thing we do have that the previous car didn't have, we've got 2 electric window switches for the driver. Previously, you had to lean over and operate them on that door only. So we've got the same stalks, I think, in here as a Mark III Toyota Yaris. I think they're the same. No automatic lights or wipers. Also got, well, paddles because, yes, automated manual. There is reverse and neutral, E, which is like drive, and then the manual mode is here, which you can also boot with the pedals. That's fun, isn't it? Steering wheel controls for the radio and telephone. And then just this little neat system in here for heating ventilation. That's all you need, isn't it? Air conditioning. Quite a large touchscreen actually for this type of car. Little silver trim accents and these very simple air vents. You just operate like this, which is fine. Electric mirrors. I don't think all of them got electric mirrors, to be honest. Traction control off. So put the key in, and this is a one-hand. There we go. So there's the dash. Rev counter in here as well. Absolute decadence. Rev counter. Shift light as well. The thing is, you can just put it in here to do it for you, or you can put it in the manual mode. I suppose that's when you need a shift light. USB port down there and aux in. We've got some nice big cup holders and a bit of sort of shiny black plastic as well. Hard touch over here, which is to be expected really. So I'm gonna maybe just put my foot on the brake and I'll start her up. I'll need 2 hands for that so we can see the reversing camera. Okay, so we're on, and if we go into reverse, there we go. Are we beeping because of parking sensors or just beeping because we're in reverse? Wonder. So yeah, but handbrake is still on. So I'm just going to leave it like that. We should be okay to leave it like that. Yeah, radio controls. Imagine that's sort of Bluetooth. I don't think it's got Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Maybe it has. Might do. Yeah, all these Bluetooth phones on there. No sat-nav or anything. It's not the best system I've ever seen, but for a little car like this, that's more than adequate, I should think. Yeah, big door bins here. Let's just turn this off, don't want to waste fuel. Big door bins, hard plastic, hard wearing, of course. I mean, what do you expect for the sort of price that these were new? And leather steering wheel actually in this Flair model, which was the top one when the car was released in 2014. Normal handbrake. Actually quite nice upholstery. It's rather nice actually, and you wouldn't get that in the base model. I don't think my secret mission not going to go in there. These, I'm not sure they will. We'll have a look, but I don't think they will. Yeah, just a nice sort of uncomplicated little basic car, and that's all they were ever designed to do. Right, let's have a look at the engine, shall we? So, good old 1 litre 1KRFE engine. You might have guessed that it's actually a Toyota nomenclature, but it was developed by Daihatsu originally. I think the first car it was ever in was the Citroën in 2005, and of course we've had a Citroën on the channel, which has been quite popular actually. I'm surprised how popular that car's been. This one develops about 69 horsepower. In 2018, when we did a facelift on the Mark II C1, the 1KRFE was replaced by another version of 1KR. I forget the model code, but a little bit more power, presumably to do with some Euro 6 detemp emissions regulations or something like that. There was a 1.2 available as well. I probably wouldn't recommend that one actually. It's not as reliable as this engine. The 1KRFE is known for being incredibly tough. As long as you keep the oil changed, they just go on and on and on. There are sometimes problems with them that they're not entirely bulletproof. There can be issues with them, but they are quite rare in comparison with, you know, the mileage you see some of these have done and things like that. Timing chain, no belt to worry about on the 1 litre. So yeah, quite tightly packed in here. I wonder if it's as easy to change a clutch on one of these that was on a Mark I C1. Anyway, I think that's quite enough. Let's go for another spin, shall we? Lloyd Young Consulting stickers, t-shirts and mugs are available by clicking the link to the Google form in the video description below. Disappointing. I think I would definitely recommend just going for a normal manual version of this C1. The automatic gearbox, is semi-auto it's described as, is actually one of these robotised manuals. It does feel like there's a learner driver behind the wheel who's just flipping the clutch constantly, and it's a bit alarming. I don't know what the reliability of these gearboxes is like, but I imagine it's not as much as the good old 5-speed manual. It's okay, I suppose, and you know, for a little city car you do need an automatic transmission option. I understand that. It's a Toyota unit, I think, as opposed to a Peugeot Citroën unit, but I would personally just go for the manual in one of these if I had the choice. To drive this car feels surprisingly grown up. It's a lot more grown up than the 107 that I tried back in March. Just put that into automatic mode, which is E in there, so I don't have to have that sort of nasty feeling of doing the changes myself. Yeah, a lot more refined. I can barely hear the engine actually when we're stopped at these lights here. And I like the fact I got a rev counter this time. That makes me feel a lot better. So more refined, more substantial, more modern interior. It just doesn't feel like everything's been just the most basic possible. It feels like, you know, you might have a little bit of luxury, particularly in this Flair model that was at the top of the range at the time. It actually feels reasonably good over the bumps. There's some feel in the steering as well. It's not like, I don't know, an MG3, which would have been a similar price to one of these. Of course, you can't get an automatic MG3. MG3, a lot more power, much better handling. It just feels like a bit more of an expensive car, really. This still feels a little bit on the cheap side, but then again, it was a cheap car. There's actually not as much body roll as I expected there to be in this. Considering it's a little narrow thing, it's quite tall. It actually goes around the corners okay. They obviously invested a bit in just some better driving dynamics this time, which is fine. Actually, I'm a lot more impressed with this car than I thought I'd be. I have driven a much more basic C1 manual gearbox than this one, and this just feels a lot better. Let's now have a look at some Mark II Citroën C1 trim levels. So the basic ones when the car was launched in 2014 were Touch, Feel and Flair. This is the top of the range one, the Flair. There were also other variations like the Feel Edition, the Feel Edition Lagoon, the Feel Edition Sunrise and the Flair Edition. Special editions, there were many. We've got the L as in the magazine. I think they know who this car was aimed at, don't they? The Furio, which is actually a trim level that was available in the old Citroën Saxo. The JCC Plus, whatever JCC Plus is. The Live, the Origins. Origins is very confusing because, well, this was the second generation car, never mind. The Sense, the Shine, and the Urban Ride. I suppose it is an Urban Ride. You can also get the Airscape model that actually was a convertible roof. It wasn't a full convertible, but the roof, you could pull it all back like you could on an old 2CV. You could also get optional city braking, which is good because most of these cars are going to be used in the city. So is this Mark II Citroën C1 a car that you should consider for your hard-earned budget of between £1,000 and £5,000? Well, we know the mechanicals of these are very hardy. After all, it is a Toyota Aygo, really, and it's still got that old Daihatsu engine. So, yes, that should be fine. Not so keen on this gearbox here. I think we'd prefer a 5-speed manual. But yeah, these cars, particularly the automatic ones, are still worth a fair bit of money. That's why they're not in no budget of use territory yet. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this, leave a comment below, and we shall see you again soon for more reasonably priced motoring.